My sister-in-law questioned my daughter at dinner, so I gave her son a record application. My sister-in-law had been lying about her son since the day he was born, and my husband's family let it happen. She said he smiled on day 2, slept all night at 3 weeks, and tracked toys at 1 month with purpose. Then the stories got bigger. He walked at 5 months. His first clear word came at 7 months. He read books by 18 months. He did addition by 2.5. Every time she said something new, the family would pause, trade a look, and move on. Nobody wanted to fight. Her son is 8 now, and he is a normal, sweet kid. I ignored his mom because it was easier. Then she aimed it at my daughter. My daughter had just turned 4. She talks all day about her stuffed animals and which one has to say sorry before bed. Her doctor has never been worried about her. At a family dinner, my sister-in-law watched her play with blocks, then leaned forward and asked if we had talked to someone about my daughter's speech and learning. The table went quiet. I asked what she meant. She said early help is important and the window closes fast. Then she said her son was reading chapter books by 2 and writing sentences by 3, so she knew what advanced looked like. My daughter was sitting right there. My husband's jaw tightened. I smiled and said, "Thanks, we'll keep an eye on it." She looked pleased. I went home and opened my laptop. I found the Guinness World Records submission page. You fill out a claim, explain the record, and if it passes the first check, they ask for proof. I wasn't going to lie. I was going to use her own words. I made a list from Facebook posts, family chats, and dinners. Walking at 5 months. First clear word at 7 months. Reading before 18 months. Chapter books at 2. Writing sentences at 3. Mental addition before preschool. Then I looked up the real record ages. According to her own claims, her son had beaten several records by months and a few by years. I entered everything neatly, used her email as the contact, and hit submit. The confirmation email gave a reference number. I printed it, then printed the milestone list under it. I took both pages to a print shop and had them put in a simple frame. I wrapped it and placed it in a gift bag. My husband saw it on the counter and asked if I was really going to give it to her. I told him she had insulted our daughter in front of the whole family, so yes. He laughed into his hand and said, "Please don't warn me before you do it." I waited for Easter dinner. My sister-in-law was already performing before we sat down. His teacher had said he was advanced beyond the class. I carried plates, cut my daughter's food, and kept the gift bag beside my chair. Then my daughter dropped her fork. My sister-in-law looked over and said, "Aw, still working on those little motor skills." 3 people heard it. My husband kicked my foot under the table because he knew it was time. I waited until dessert was out. My sister-in-law was leaning back. I picked up the gift bag and slid it across the table to her. I said, "I thought about what you said last time, and I realized we haven't appreciated your son's achievements enough." Her face lit up. "Oh," she said, "you didn't have to do anything." I said, "I wanted to." She pulled out the frame. For about 5 seconds, she looked happy. Then her eyes moved faster. She read the words Guinness World Records submission. Her smile froze. "What is this?" she asked. I said, "It's the application I filed for your son's milestones. If all that happened, he should be officially recognized." Her husband leaned over and read the list. "Walking at 5 months?" he said. Nobody answered. He kept reading. Clear first word at 7 months. Chapter books at 2. Writing sentences at 3. Then he laughed so hard he put his fork down and covered his face. My sister-in-law snapped, "Stop it." He looked at the page again and laughed harder. Her face went red. She said the application would never be approved. I said, "Probably not unless you have proof, but the reference number is right there if Guinness wants to follow up." Her husband wiped his eyes and asked, "How far back does this go?" The table went silent. She said I was cruel and embarrassing her on a holiday. I said, "You embarrassed my daughter at dinner and called it concern." She stood so fast, her chair hit the wall. She pointed at me and said I had no right. I said, "Then stop using your child's fake records to measure mine." She grabbed her purse and walked out before coffee was served.